Tournament Challenge app. It's easier than ever to create groups for your brackets and invite everyone to play along. You can battle for bracket supremacy in a group with friends, family, co-workers, other fans of your favorite team, and even ESPN personalities and celebrities. And if you create a group of 10 or more people, you'll be entered for a chance to win $10,000. Then track your bracket standings in real time throughout the men's and women's tournaments. Whether you're a super fan or just want to be part of the fun, now's the time to get started. Download and fill out your brackets now with the ESPN Tournament Challenge app.
No doubt, Reese, it's just a tap away. Let's roll to the Midwest. As you see, Houston in search of their first national championship, near misses, Final Fours galore. Sean mentioned Gonzaga, 9 straight Sweet 16s. That's the current longest streak in America. Watch out for the Bayou Bandits of McNeese as well. Take a look at the bottom portion of the draw. What's interesting about this particular region is that the one nor the two has ever won the national title. Tennessee, in fact, still in search of their first ever Final Four appearance. Mark Pope, in his first year at Kentucky, leads them to 22 wins. And the 3 seed, they will take on Troy. Let's talk a little bit about this region as we are nearing in on 9.5 million brackets.
I'm not up there just yet.
We'll slowly get you there. We'll ramp you up. Best first round matchup here in the Midwest for that region we just saw.
Well, I think without question, you're looking at UGA and Gonzaga. Those two teams, I think it's a great matchup. You know, people forget Gonzaga. I think, and Sean knows this better than any of us up here. First of all, they beat Baylor by 40 to start the season. And then they kind of just got forgotten during the rest of the season until this, when they won the WCC. Gonzaga's good. I mean, you look at what they do offensively. I mean, they are a efficient team offensively. They got multiple weapons. I mean, the other thing with Gonzaga, they score almost 50% of their offense, field goal percentage. I mean, they are just at a high clip. And then you got Graham Ike who can score in the post. And then the way they move the ball, I mean, they're a highly efficient offensive team. Whereas Georgia, people forget about this. From January to late February, they played 13 ranked teams.
In Florida?
And they played 13 ranked teams in a brutal stretch that they had. As you mentioned, they beat Florida. They're really good on the glass. They're a big team. This is going to be a contrasting styles where Gonzaga is going to want to try to get up and down and play faster and use a little more, finesse on offense, where Georgia's going to want to pound you, beat you up in the paint, win you on the offensive glass. I think this is going to be an intriguing game. And this isn't about the SEC football anymore for the Georgia Bulldogs. This is about basketball right now for Mike White and his staff.
Great finish to the season for him.
Yeah.
No doubt. How about the player to keep an eye on this region?
To me, we talk about Houston being a national championship quality team. If Houston's going to be a national championship quality team, Milos Uzan has to have a great NCAA tournament. And this is a young man who transferred in from Oklahoma. And when I saw them practice prior to their game against Butler in December, he was being pushed and challenged in every single possession to be tougher. And there was a question, could he be tough enough to be that guard, replacing Jamal Shead? He's not Jamal Shead. He actually gives a little bit more offensively than Jamal Shead did. And his defense is at a level now where there's such a great consistency. He has earned the faith and trust of his coach, but more importantly, of that entire locker room. And that's why he's the player to watch.
I do like Uzan and Owe in your backcourt and lose them to
Porter Moser's unbelievable. Porter Moser's like,
Keep in mind, on the other side of the transfer situation, Houston doesn't take very many transfers. So the fact that they took this guy tells you something about Kelvin Sampson and the way that he wants to roll. Your upset alert in this region is?
What's the theme of the day?
Conspiracy.
Where did Will Wade go to college, Zubin?
And start his coaching career with the Clemson Tigers.
That's why I asked you, because I didn't want to put that pressure on these guys. Clemson and McNeese you say, wait a second. Clemson went to the Elite Eight last year. Yeah, they did. And Clemson is a team they can get back to this year. But if you want to pick an upset, McNeese say, style of play. Can you impose your style of play on the game? That's exactly what McNeese does. They're up in passing lanes, they switch 1 through 5, they'll trap ball screens, they'll change defenses, they'll show zone, play man. Cynthia Parker's an absolute bucket at times. Cadet Copeland, who started at Syracuse, he's a big guard, sees over the defense. But it's all about their ability to turn you over and get to the offensive glass. Styles make fights. This is a game that if they can disrupt the rhythm and the spacing of Clemson, and they rebound the ball like they have within conference, Clemson grad could maybe be a pain in the forward.
In all fairness, though, that was 7 down 2 weeks ago in the New York Times crossword that Zubin did. Just saying.
And we should mention,
In his sleep.
you have to keep tabs on how many games Will Wade has left at McNeese. That's another story.
Oh, look at that. It's
for
called a P.
Another day. The game that needs to happen. That might happen. The game that needs to happen.
You mentioned the storyline earlier, the parts of the storyline, Tennessee and Houston meeting the Elite Eight, because they're the 1 and 2 seeds, but neither of them won a national championship. There's this crazy, hitting Clemson, Houston. All right, never mind. We're going Clemson, Houston. All right, let's go Clemson, Houston. We just talked about Clemson, how good they are. Well, this team is an elite team.
I left my feet.
Good pump fake. They could get to the Final Four. They could beat Houston. Why can they beat Houston? They are rugged. They've been through this before. A lot of these guys were on that Elite Eight team last year. They can shoot it. They got inside-out presence. They got good guard play. They're well coached by Brad Brownell. And Houston, at times, as well as they shoot it better this year, still can get stuck a little bit. So I think that provides an interesting matchup and a possible shocker early on.
All right. Shot clock is
Okay,
down.
here
This
we
is
go.
time to go.
This is nerve-wracking. I
Here we
can tell you
go.
this right now. So we'll see if I can get this done.
Give us a Midwest.
Okay, here's the Midwest region. Okay, first of all, look, and I'll go right through this. We know Houston's going
Welcome back to the Bracketology.
Over Georgia. I think it's a great game, as I mentioned. It could come right down to the wire, but I just love Gonzaga's offense. I love how fast they play. They're going on to Houston. You got Clemson's going to beat McNeese State, and Purdue's going to take care of business. They've got the best point guard in the country, Braden Smith, Big Ten Player of the Year, and a big-time player inside Trey Coughlin-Wynn. All right, let's go down here to the bottom part of the bracket. Look, I think Texas is going to win their first 4 games. They're going to play the Fighting Illini, who's been about as inconsistent as anyone. I know the guys on the set there talked about how good they could be, but they just have not been consistent. I like Texas, though, because they've got some rhythm. They win that first 4. They come in. They've already played a game. They beat Illinois, and they continue to advance because they got a guy, Trey Johnson, who's a lottery pick. Kentucky beats Troy, UCLA over Utah State, and Tennessee, who's at a very, very high level, is moving on to the Sweet 16. Okay. Let's go on, continue on here. All right. See, I've done it right so far. Now we've got Houston and Purdue. This is nerve-wracking. I'm telling you, this is nerve-wracking. Houston and Purdue, Texas and Tennessee. I do like Houston going past. And, I missed all this stuff here. Houston's beating Gonzaga. Clemson's beating Purdue. Purdue's beating Clemson.
There you go.
There we go. Texas is actually going to advance to Kentucky. They're on a speed with the way they're playing with those games, get in the first 4 and continue to win, sort of like the VCU a few years ago. And then we've got Tennessee advancing. And then the next one right here, we've got Houston beating Purdue, Tennessee beating Texas, and then I like Houston advancing to the Final Four to play Alabama.
They last went to the Final Four.
I did it. I don't know how I did that. That was
Well done.
Coach, I coached in front of 20,000, but that was more pressure than I have done in my entire life.
Celebrate early, though. You
I've seen my wife give birth. That was pressure.
Great job of getting to the next play. Great job of getting to the next play. Resilience.
9.5 million brackets.
You said we were going to be at 20.
Let's get to 20 million.
Let's get to
After
20
that
by
job right there,
Thursday.
we got to get to 20 million.
20 million by Thursday. The gauntlet has been thrown down. This guy took his team to the NCAA tournament. The biggest reason they're there? A trash can. Trust me. A wastebasket. Wait till you see it. And if you care about any numbers other than the final score, Dallin Cope is here with his best bets for the tournament.
What else matters?
Fair enough. Josh, you did it. We're back after
Thank you.
this with 9.5 million brackets and counting.
So why